Alright, today in this video, we will be talking about why I choose to use Linux. I have pulled up an article about why Linux is the best operating system. They have 11 reasons why they feel that Linux is the best operating system. So I will go through these, and a lot of these are the reasons why I use Linux. So let's get into it. Number one is Linux is open source. That means it's free, and also anyone can use the code, and also you can look into the code. So unlike something like Windows, you can't see what's going on behind the scenes in Windows. It's all proprietary and they keep it locked down, so you can't actually see what's going on in the code. With Linux, you can see that, and therefore people make changes to it to add their own distributions and things like that. So it can be fine tuned to however you need it. All right. Point number two is that it's secure. Basically, the way that Linux is set up, it makes it more secure. Um, there are less hacks on Linux than Windows. More people attack Windows, probably because it's more popular and mainstream, I guess, if you could say. More like casual users use Windows, so I guess they would actually want to hack Windows more. So it's kind of like having a target on your back because of the fact that you're using Windows. So if you use Linux, the security is much better on there. It's built in. You don't have to get any extra antivirus software. You can use some extra tools, but you don't need to. All right. Linux is definitely better. It works better on lower end computers. So basically, if you have a really old computer that you that can't run really advanced software, then you can definitely use Linux because there are distributions for if you have really old hardware. So Linux is good with that. It's perfect for programmers because they have support for pretty much any programming language that you can think of. Linux is great. We're going to be using Java here, but according to the article, you have Python, which is a scripting language, and you have C, C++, Perl, Ruby, all of these, PHP, everything, pretty much whatever you can think of, Linux supports it. Software updates. I know everyone here can relate to those long, exhausting Windows updates. Those are ridiculous. So the software updates on Linux are quick. They may have more. Like there's always updates going on, but they're fast and they also run. They also can run while you're actually on your machine. So that's great. All right, then you have customization. I don't personally really customize the way my desktop looks, my desktop environment looks. I usually just customize with certain scripts and have a lot going on in the background, not so much in the front end, but you can definitely change pretty much. They have a million themes that you can choose from to show on your desktop, or you can have different launchers. You can actually create your own launcher icons. Customization is endless, and if you can think of it, you can pretty much do it in Linux. Now, the variety of distributions. Now, this is where Linux really thrives. There are so many distributions that it is hard to even understand. They branch off of each other. So you'll have certain distros, and then there'll be a programmer that comes through like, hey, I actually want this to be like this, or I want the scheduling to be different in this distro. So they'll change it up to whatever they need. Also, I pulled up this neat little here you go, this graphic here. This basically helps you choose a Linux distribution. So if you're not sure where to start in the sea of distributions that are out there, this is a good guide. You can see the address, the URL here if you wanted to go check that out. So you can pause that. I'll post this in the description as well, so you can get it from there. But yep, this is a great way to choose which distribution you should start off with. Gives you a series of questions, and you follow the lines from there. So it's a good tool to use if you're not sure which distribution you want to use. So on to the next, number 8. Number 8, it is free to use. Like I said earlier, it's open source, so you can get the code, and it's free to use. And with Windows, you have to pay to get an actual legit copy of it. So with Linux, you can just find it, download it, install it, run it, love it. Linux has better community support because Linux is so widely used among web servers and things people use it for. Because it's so widely used, it has better community support. So there are forums all over the internet solving problems. So 9 times out of 10, I really want to say 10 times out of 10, but you never want to be, you always want to leave some room. I'm pretty sure whatever error you come across, somebody has already come across it and has solved it. So there's nothing that you can run into that you won't be able to find on the internet. I'm sure there's always somebody that came across that same issue. All right, on the 10, reliability. This is why everyone uses Linux for their servers, because it's very reliable. Unlike Windows, where the system gets sluggish after you use it. The longer you use it, the slower it seems to get. Then you have to do a full reinstall, after you back up your stuff, so you can still have your stuff. But it's a hassle, and with Linux, it's just smooth. There's no reinstalling. You don't have to. It's just run smooth every day, like with great uptime. It's just amazing. The only time you have to restart is probably if you have installed some software that needs a reboot. But other than that, it's very reliable. Last but not least, the privacy. Linux, some distributions collect data if you tell it to. Linux does not just snoop on your data and send it off to their servers or whatever. You can actually have it to do that if you don't mind sharing the anonymous data with Linux, whoever's over your distribution. But it's not anywhere as intrusive as Windows is. So there's that. Also, I did a quick Google search of what percentage of servers on the web are Linux servers, and according to W3 Techs, they did a research and they say that 67% of web servers are Linux web servers. So widely used, as I said before. So this is why I decided to use Linux over any other operating system, and my distribution of choice is either Fedora or Ubuntu. So I will be using Ubuntu during this course because I believe that's what most people are going to be using. Because it's stable and it's a Debian distribution. So I like Debian. So that's all for this, and we can go on to the next one. In the next lesson, we will be beginning some it's not necessarily coding. We will be installing MySQL and setting up that server. So see you guys in that lesson.